And time now to ask your financial questions. We have Jordan Halloran with Max Wealth Management. Go ahead and give us a call. The number is 420-9732. That's 420-WSFA 334 area code. Jordan, they were just talking about debt collectors. What do people need to know when those collectors start calling? And we also have to be careful because there's a lot of scammers out there too.
That's right, yeah. So always be aware of the scams that are going on, because a lot of times now they've gotten even more intricate with AI about knowing a lot of that information ahead of time. But please know that none of your financial institutions are going to ask for that over the phone. So please make sure you know who you're talking to. They're a lot of times spoofing those numbers. So if you're unsure, give that person or that company a call directly to go ahead and verify that information first. But when it comes to kind of working with somebody that you already have debt through, if you're struggling, go ahead and let them know in advance. That way it doesn't come by surprise and you can already start to work out that plan ahead of time. That way you don't get caught by surprise.
Does it make a difference if we reach out to those credit card companies and talk one-on-one with someone and say, hey, I'm trying to pay this off, I need a little help? How can we benefit from that?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, whether it's a credit card company or the bank, they don't want to lose money. They want to be paid. And so if they have somebody that's willing to work with them, they're going to a lot of times work with you, because at the end of the day, they don't want to repo that car or lose that money on that credit card. They know they're not going to get their money back, so they're willing to work with you. And at the end of the day, they're trying to put all of their customers or their members in a better financial position. And so a lot of times they're willing to work with you to make sure that you can make those payments so you can keep that credit score up as well.
I always ask you for these tips because debt can be very stressful, especially when you have a lot of different credit cards, a lot of different debt. What are some of your immediate tips to folks looking to pay off that debt quickly?
Yeah, so obviously going to focus on sometimes those lower balance credit cards, things of that nature. Do that snowball effect, get those small ones paid out of the way first. Use that payment to go ahead and then tackle the next one and keep that, that plan going. And by the end of the day, before you know it, you'll be hopefully debt free. Sometimes just rounding up small balances makes a big difference too, as far as those payments. If they're charging you $200, we'll make that $225 if you can afford to do that too.
I know for some people though, those high interest rates can be scary and intimidating, and you feel like, I'm trying to whittle away at this, but it's not going anywhere. How important is it for us to look at those interest rates?
Yeah, interest rates, sometimes it's so surprising what interest rates can do. In the grand scheme of things, they might not look as scary in the short term, but in the long term, they can cost you a lot of money. So make sure you sit down, talk with a loan officer a lot of times with those, and kind of see what the impact is. They'll actually run you a projection of what the total cost of that loan is going to be, whether that's 5 years, 10 years, or even in the life of a mortgage, for example, that can be up to 30 years.
This debt too impacts your credit score. What does that mean long term if you're looking to buy a home or buy another car?
Right. So when it comes to credit, you want to make sure you keep those things top of mind. You obviously have to borrow money to build that credit, so you got to start small. But needless to say, you want to go ahead and make sure you make those plans ahead of time. Start working on making sure just making those payments regularly. That's probably one of the biggest contributing factors to your credit score, is making those payments on time and in full if possible.
Is there certain debt that impacts your credit score more than others, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, there are certain aspects. I think it depends too on the lender. Certain lenders will like to focus on different types of debt. Some are looking for your auto loans. Others are looking for unsecured debt, such as credit cards. So it also depends on what type of loan you're looking to apply for. They might look at that history a little bit more heavily than other types of loans you've had in the past.
So if you're looking to get a mortgage, they may be looking at your renters history, right, things like that.
Exactly. They're looking for things that are comparable to what you're looking to borrow money for, to make sure that it's going to be reliable and that you're going to be able to keep making those payments.
Obviously paying off debt. What are some other things we can do to improve our credit score?
Yeah, so the other thing is just credit utilization. And when I mean utilization, we're going to be looking at things such as, well, how much limit do I have available on my credit card, and making sure I don't max out those balances. If they're going to give you $10,000, which nowadays it feels like they just hand out money left and right, make sure you don't max that out.
Don't go all the way to 10,000.
That's right. Yeah. Try to keep that a little bit lower. And when that statement comes in, do your best to pay that off. At the end of the day, if you have a credit card, use it as if it's cash in the bank. Don't charge it unless you have that money, right? Because at the end of the day, you kind of put yourself in a bad situation if you're going to charge things and you just don't have the money to pay for.
All right, Jordan. And we're going to check back in with Jordan in a few minutes. Go ahead and give us a call. The number's 334 is right at the bottom of your screen, 420-9732. We will get to some of your financial questions after this.